Greetings, welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. Let me know if the sound is good, the visuals are good, and everything is good. I think it's good. It's good to see you. Thanks for being patient and understanding about my day off yesterday. Had a good time. Did some camping and all that kind of good stuff. And it was a good time was had by all. How y'all doing? Good to see you. Kick. Somebody told me about Kick. Kick, the platform. I did. There's so many. BitChute, Kick, Odyssey. All right, thanks, Malcolm. Band.video. There's like a bunch. There's like so many. I don't know. I don't want to get too caught up. I feel like every time I try to change something up, I lose people. And I know I've been changing up by going to Substack one day a week, and I meant what I said last week when I said I'm going to go to Substack 2 days a week. I feel like people get all like wigged out on that, but it's happening. But it's only Substack, and it's strictly Substack, and so there won't be too much chatter. But I don't know. Every time I try and do something new, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Who knows? It doesn't. It's also weird because I don't seem to be picking up new followers. I have a core, like a strict core of followers, and they seem to drop off little by little. But I can't seem to get some new heads in here. I don't know. Wow, who knows? Who knows? Everybody's supposed to be perfect, right? It's supposed to be perfectly aligned with everybody's beliefs. It's good. It's all good. Just do what makes you feel good. That's what I always say. Do what works for you. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing Substack. Thinking about doing Substack on Thursday and Friday, and maybe we'll try that this week. So, everyone be warned that we'll probably do like Thursday and Friday on Substack, but I'm getting more followers over there little by little, picking up some people. I feel like it might be a better place to build an audience. It seems to be more in a more acceptable platform for most people, right? Because I tell people to go to other things and they're like, no, I will not go to Telegram. I will not go over here. I am not going to do Rockfin. I'm not going over here. Seems that people are a little more agreeable to going to Substack. So I'm going to ride that wave. I'm trying to get people over to Substack. And try and consolidate the business. You know what I'm saying? Rockfin people, where y'all at? Don't know where the Rockfinners are. And I don't know. You can't please everyone. You cannot please everyone. So, I can't make adjustments for, if I made adjustments for every single person, I would be on 14 different apps for 14 different viewers. I just am not going to do that. So, ride the wave or don't ride the wave. I don't know. Figure it out. Well, yeah. I mean, yes, people have objections. I understand, Malcolm. It just, everybody has, it's like every time I go to a new place, half the people are like, no way. And the other half of people are like, this is cool. And some people are like, I don't know about this. And like, I just can't, I can't move around for everybody. I have to just do what I'm doing. And you want to come. Can't make it. I don't know. Yeah, well, it would be a better thing. I feel like Substack is better for, as far as like freedom of speech, and who knows? If you're on the internet, they're seeing and hearing what you're doing. It doesn't really matter where you are, unless we're, I'm doing videos by, on Signal or something, unless I'm doing an encrypted only chat room. Somewhere, I don't know. I don't know how to really get around it. So, we're wherever there's going to be less censorship is really what I'm after. Telegram is cool because you can say whatever the heck you want. Yeah, they're going to see what you're saying, or, maybe they'll, whatever, but you can just, it's a dedicated chat. There isn't any other filter. There's no like chatter. It's just people in the chat. It's just whoever is here can come to Telegram and just talk and post links. You don't even have to talk to people. Just post a link. Say, what's up? Whatever. Just a dedicated Black Bear News chat. But maybe we'll move that to Substack. I think Substack has a dedicated chat just for the people on Substack. So maybe we'll just do a dedicated Substack chat on Substack and then call it a day. I appreciate that, Denver. Thank you. So, but for now, we'll do a mix of everything. But I just want to kind of get people aligned with going to Substack and checking out Black Bear News on Substack. Okay, all right. Anyways, enough of that. Yeah, but if you have a VPN on, can you run a VPN? Malcolm, if you trust VPNs, I don't know. All right. Speaking of Substack, well, this was on Substack. This is Greg Reese, a new Greg Reese report here. And the MAHA Make America Healthy Again movement has not really been everything it was cracked up to be. And, people had their suspicions, doubts. Some people thought, well, maybe, damn it, they get you every time with the, well, maybe it'll work out this time, and feel like maybe maybe all hope should be lost. I don't know. Is all hope lost? My friends. Let's watch this from Greg Reese.
Yesterday, RFK Jr. addressed the public about a measles outbreak, saying that there are 642 confirmed cases across 22 states. He said that in early March, he deployed a CDC team to bolster capacity for response and to supply pharmacies and clinics with needed MMR vaccines and other medicines and medical supplies. He concluded by stating that the most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine. I've spoken to Governor Abbott, and I've offered HHS's continued support. At his request, we have redeployed CDC teams to Texas. We will continue to follow Texas's lead and to offer similar resources to other affected jurisdictions. The power of rhetoric is that it seems to work without fail in every election. And so many are surprised to see this complete reversal to what he was saying before the 2024 election.
If your kids were young now, would you give them the measles, the mumps vaccine?
No. I got measles, mumps when I was a kid. It was
lots of people die from them. Used to die from those diseases.
Well, you know what? They died in the 1900s or early 1900s. There were about 10,000 Americans a year who died. In 1964, there was about 300 or 400 who died, and they were almost all severely malnourished kids, mainly from the Mississippi Delta. This was before the poverty program, so there was a lot of starving children in our country. It's very, very hard to kill a healthy child with any infectious disease, but particularly with measles. And the World Health Organization now says vitamin A is an absolute cure for measles, which we didn't know about back then. Back then, you know, we were treated with chicken soup, and it was, you know, a week at home watching Leave It to Beaver, and every kid caught it. Every single kid got it. And I had 11 brothers and sisters, and we all got it, and we were all fine. And there are lots and lots of studies out there now that show that kids who get measles as a child are much healthier when they grow up, that they're much more resistant to cancers, to atopic diseases, to...
Okay, listen, just for YouTube's sake, I'm playing somebody else's, this is, you know, I'm playing... this is news and information, okay? This is not, for one thing, and this is not, this is fair use under copyright law, just for educational purposes, okay? YouTube, please. Just relax.
Allergies and to heart disease. Nobody died in Samoa from measles. They were dying from a bad vaccine. And the vaccine was imported from Australia and given to people who had measles, which is not recommended. The same measles outbreak hit Tonga, which is the neighboring island, and nobody died because they didn't get the vaccine.
RFK Jr. admitted to being on Jeffrey Epstein's plane 3 times.
You weren't ever on Jeffrey Epstein's jet, were you?
Yes, I was on Jeffrey Epstein's jet 2 times. I was on it in 1993, and I was on it and I went to Florida with my wife.
Well, that was a mistake.
Wife and 2 children to visit my mom over Easter. My wife had some kind of relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell.
He said his wife was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell, whose father, Robert Maxwell, was a Zionist and a high-level spy for Israel and Mossad. And like all of the MAHA-HAHA cabinet, loyalty to Israeli Zionism is first and foremost. Everything else is just rhetoric. While Israel beats the drums for war with Iran, the U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services prescribes the MMR vaccine to keep Americans dead and confused. Greg Reese reporting.
All right. Something from Cincinnati getting slapped with the weather whack-a-mole today, or last couple days actually. I'm guessing Tennessee, all through that area, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio. getting it. Getting the weather whack-a-mole. Here's an interesting piece. And this is along the lines of James Lee's exposure of the homeless grift in California. And grift it is. So here's a post. Minnesota Food Bank NGO CEO was paying herself $721,000 per year. Other executives with the nonprofit earned more than $300,000 annually. The nonprofit lobbied for taxpayer funds and issued warnings about the problem of people going hungry across the state. The woman was paying herself $721,000 a year running a nonprofit food bank. She was just taking donor and taxpayer money. In January, a study conducted by Second Harvest Heartland with a research organization found that 1 in 5 households in Governor Tim Walz's Minnesota are food insecure.
This woman was paying herself $700,000 a year running a nonprofit food bank. So she was just taking donor and taxpayer money, buying food and handing it out to poor people, and somehow that was worth $750,000 a year. She wasn't running a regular company where you have to compete with the market and there's pressure from shareholders or anything. She's just giving out free stuff. This is a common tactic for Democrats. They create and exaggerate social problems, then convince people that the government can solve them, which it most likely and often cannot. After they've allocated taxpayer funds to the problem, they insert themselves right in the gravy train and extract wealth off of it and make themselves personally rich. This is what Elon Musk is eliminating at the federal level, but unfortunately it's going on everywhere.
Okay, well, I don't know that Elon Musk is the answer, and I'm going to disagree with that last part. There was another post about Jon Stewart interviewing Ezra Klein, and from New York Times, I think it was. And Ezra was talking about, well, let's go find the clip. Anyways, they were trying to big up Elon Musk in this post. And I was like, all right, look, just because you figure out the Democrats are doing weird budgety stuff, and they are, I don't know that that's a really good time to go all in for Elon Musk, because it's a trap. Yeah, it's all good, Gene. I'll try and do my best to keep everybody on the loop of the Black Bear news. Let's see. What was I doing? Oh, I was trying to find the Jon Stewart clip. Let's see. I mean, it's an interesting phenomenon. Don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. But basically, here's what it is about. The Democrats, in one of the last, during the Biden administration, the Democrats had passed something, basically a program that was supposed to give the underserved, the poor and the underserved, that was supposed to give them internet. But it was such a convoluted, complicated thing to get approval for. It had like 14 approval steps that since this bill was passed, which was like 3 years ago, no one has gotten internet, not one person. And it was like $48 million or something like that was put towards this project. So Jon Stewart is talking to Ezra Klein about it. And he's just realizing what a Well, a scam. It is. It's a total scam. So there's $48 million. That's a big pile of money, going to help people get internet, and nobody ever gets internet. And lots of people are getting paid in this, overly complicated but unproductive program, right? How many people got paid what, and what money went where, and is anybody ever going to figure that one out? There's just, again, everything is money laundering. Everything is money laundering. The Democrats as well as the Republicans as well as the Democrats. It doesn't matter. I love my Democrat friends. I do, but I just would like you to please just try and be a little more discerning about, I know you hate the Republicans and Trump. I get it. But you also have to, I think I saw another post somewhere. They're talking about the fact that the Democrat approval rating is going down while the Republican approval rating is also going down. So kind of in an unexpected first time in history, right? Usually it's like one side goes down, the other side goes up. They're both going down. Because people are starting to figure it out. Oh, they're both kind of doing the same thing. It's just a different flavor of corruption. And when you figure that out, then it's a lot easier to see what the game is. Which is what I am trying to tell y'all and show y'all. What I've been trying to tell you and show y'all. I get it. That some people are not there yet. It's okay. Trump is going to raise the military defense budget to $1 trillion. Would you believe $1 trillion? My God. Come on, man. Hold on. Proud to say. Jesus. Quite a few thoughts about this. Hold on 1 second. But let's listen to Ron Paul. He says Trump to pump more money into the very thing that has bankrupted us, the military industrial complex. Oh, okay. Thanks. Sorry. Let's see. We'll try it again. Sorry about. Thanks for letting me know. Thank you. We'll try it. Let me know if you have sound this time.
They're fighting too many wars and we're spending too much money at home. So what are we going to do about it? We've been telling people they shouldn't do that, but they just aren't listening. Well, we've applauded, this new committee, Doge and Musk, and even Trump, and even we praised them. But it doesn't look like it's getting very far. And because the news item that we've discovered today that sort of dampens our enthusiasm is the announcement by the administration. Hegseth says Pentagon will get its first $1 trillion DoD budget. And then if you read the article in Anti-War, they say, next year, because of some hidden ways they hide the spending and the momentum, they're saying that the military budget next year could be $2 trillion. I'll tell people listening, don't sweat it. We'll never make it that far. If we're going to spend like that, there may be a conclusion to all this. So it's rather disturbing. And I'm going to check with Chris, see if he's been disturbed by $1 trillion. Maybe he's not going to get upset until it's $2 trillion. How about that, Chris?
I don't know. I hope we don't get that far down. But I think you're right, Dr. Paul. I don't know if we would make it to $2 trillion. Yeah, you're 100% correct. We started off hot. The Trump administration, we were excited ourselves. Actual cutting with Doge was happening. Finally, this is something that never happens. But as the weeks go on, we started to notice, this is only like leftist stuff, good stuff that was being cut, but only the Democrats were upset. And anybody who's been around a little while knows that our problem is not simply the Democrats. It's Democrats.
Not only that, but what they're not covering in a lot of these very glowing remarks on Doge is that they're cutting spending in certain right, like U.S. aid, but some of those programs are being taken over or still going on under the State Department. So they're just transferring. Yeah, they're still funding a lot of this stuff. So make the deep state great again.
Democrats and Republicans. And the Republicans are not upset. And in fact, Pete Hegseth, as you mentioned, Dr. Paul, thank you, Mr. President, he says, coming soon, the first $1 trillion Department of Defense budget.
Yeah.
President Trump
America,
is rebuilding
great.
our military and
Yeah.
fast. And here's the funny part. P.S. We intend to spend every taxpayer dollar wisely on lethality and readiness, end quote. I mean, how stupid does he think Americans are? If the military was efficient, they would cut it 50-75% from what it is now, not increase to $1 trillion.
Exactly.
So it is starting to feel like we've been duped. The question has always been in my
Starting
mind,
to feel?
will President Trump try to save the empire or save the nation, America? And by all appearances today, it's looking like he's trying to save the empire, which means that it's going to bankrupt the nation.
They're fighting too many wars and we're spending.
Yep. You can't. And he said earlier on in his administration, very early on, well, we're looking at cutting the Pentagon budget. Nope. Oh, sorry. We're going to raise it. We're going in the opposite direction. Whoops. Oh, man. It's just a freaking mess. There's also a huge buildup of military in Iran. People are very, 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 I won't add another very, but nervous about the military buildup in Iran or in the Gulf, in the Middle East, the Gulf, whatever you want to call it. In preparation for a possible showdown. There can't be a showdown between Iran and the United States. A possible bombing of Iran and initiating of a larger war in the Middle East. The U.S. normally has a total of 156,000 military personnel stationed overseas. What is that total? The Carl Vincent Carrier Group is relocating to the Red Sea, and half of our active B-2 bombers are in Diego Garcia. He's going to bomb Iran. This is video of the arrival of new reinforcements. Total number of U.S. forces in the Middle East has now reached 300,000. That's a lot.
If I die in the combat zone, if I die in the combat zone, box me up and ship me home. Box me up and ship me home.
Jesus Christ. That's just fucking sad. This also from DC. The fences are back up. It means something horrible is about to happen, and it's probably not the market crash. So it's been a new kind of a new thing, or a newer thing, although it's happened, through the last several administrations, but this looks like pretty industrial grade fencing. That's some hardcore fencing, but they put some fences back up. I guess they're expecting some trouble, a bit of trouble, maybe. So who knows what that means? We can only guess and wonder. More on Trump and his dedication to, being a friend of Israel. When I said below that one day after Israel murdered a 14-year-old American in the West Bank, Trump would hold Netanyahu's chair for him like a waiter, I was speaking metaphorically because he did it the last time, but yes, he did it again today. Oh, isn't that cute? These guys. Bernie Sanders, please sit the F down, sir. More on the Trump dumpster. In what appears to be a first, Donald Trump has pardoned a corporation just hours before the cryptocurrency exchange's $100 million fine for violating money laundering laws was due. Okay. Oh, you're not going to let me read this? I don't really want to read. I don't want to do all that. Yeah. Let's see. Trump just pardoned a corporation. Let's see. Amid a flurry of pardons President Donald Trump issued to white-collar criminals last week, one name that has largely escaped notice did not belong to a person at all. What may have been a first, Trump pardoned a corporation. The company to earn that distinction was a cryptocurrency exchange sentenced to a $100 million fine for violating an anti-money laundering law. The move surprised scholars of presidential pardons, which have traditionally been considered the domain of human beings. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can get this. I don't really want to. Well, let's see. No, I don't want to do that. Let's do this one. No. Okay. Now I got it. Presidential pardons have been considered the domain of human beings. Several experts contacted by The Intercept said Trump appears to have acted within his powers, but they are unaware of any prior instances of corporations granted full pardons. BitMEX. Trump's pardon of HDR Global Trading, the owner and operator of crypto exchange BitMEX, was issued at the same time as pardons for three of the company's co-founders and one of its employees. Just like people, corporations can be convicted of crimes. While they cannot be sentenced to prison, they can face fines and serious consequences. The company and the 4 employees, including influential Bitcoin booster Arthur Hayes, pleaded guilty to violating the Bank Secrecy Act, which requires businesses to take steps to prevent money laundering. Prosecutors said the company pretended to pull out of the U.S. market to avoid complying with the law, but knew its withdrawal was nothing more than a sham, even seeking out U.S.-based influencers to market its platform. HDR Global Trading is incorporated in the Seychelles, an Indian Ocean island nation that has been dubbed a tax haven by the Tax Justice Network. The company pleaded guilty last July. 2 months ago, a federal judge handed it a $100 million fine. The fine was supposed to be paid within 60 days of the judgment's entry into the court record. The company said it had not paid the fine before receiving the pardon. The timing of Trump's pardon means the company avoided the fine deadline by hours. Wow. BitMEX says it still bars U.S. citizens from using its services. In a statement, the company thanked Trump. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, corruption on steroids. Looks like. And there's a lot of exchanges that don't operate in the U.S. anymore, which is interesting because supposedly Trump is supposed to be a cryptocurrency friendly president, but all these exchanges that have gone down in the U.S. Are still not back up. So I don't think it doesn't seem very friendly yet. Although he's, letting them get out of paying their fines. So that's something. Sorry for the noise. That's something. What else we got? Oh, by the way, if you're a fan of the show, if you like the show coming to you Monday through Friday for free $9.89, you want to keep the show going, you want to make sure the show comes to you for free, that the show continues to operate, you may want to support the show. Lots of ways to do that. Lots of links in the description box of whatever platform you're watching on. All the usual suspects are there: Venmo, CashApp, PayPal, Zelle, Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-Fi, Patreon, Substack, stuff like that. Okay. Lots of you already support the show. You know who you are. I appreciate you. Thank you. Wow. All right. Oh, well, let's get to this because I kind of wanted to get to this story. Remember we talked about the company Colossal? I think it's Colossal or Colossal. Bringing back woolly mammoths. Remember we talked about this like several years ago? Well, apparently they brought back a species called the dire wolf. Oh boy. What does this mean? What are they doing? They're messing around over there, and probably in things that may or may not be messed with. Scientists have brought back dire wolves using ancient and my other question is, do you believe this is a real story? Because every time you hear any story anywhere, one of the first thoughts, beyond like, whoa, one of the first thoughts that should go through your head is this real? Like, if that's not the first or second question you ask whenever you see any story anywhere about anything, one of the first, I'm going to say within the first three, should be within the first two, is this real? Is this actually a thing that's happened? Should be the first thought. And then even if you don't, if you don't know, you can keep that thought. It's okay to just keep that thought. Like, oh, interesting. I'm going to take this at face value. Yes, it's the thing that happened. Sure, why not? But always in the back of your mind, have the thing like, have this, the question remaining like, but I don't know. I don't know if this really happened. And leave a little space in there for the idea that maybe it never did. But we'll see. Anyways, scientists have brought back dire wolves using ancient DNA, with the first born on October 1st, 2024. Why did it take 7 months for us to hear about this? That's my first question. That happened 7 months ago, and we're hearing about it now. The genome was reconstructed by Colossal from ancient DNA found in fossils. Okay, sure. The fossils date back 11,572,000 years. Colossal Biosciences said this moment marks not only a milestone for us as a company, but also a leap forward for science. Conservation. Conservation. What does it have to do with conservation? I feel like this looks like they did pick up a white dog. It kind of looks not very real, but who am I to judge? It's a milestone and a leap forward for science, conservation, and humanity. Well, is it? Is it a milestone, or is it a leap forward? To revolutionize history and be the first company to use CRISPR technology successfully in the de-extinction of previously lost species. By achieving this, we continue to push forward our broader mission on accepting humanity's duty to restore Earth to a healthier state. Really? If they died out 11,000 years ago, or however long it was, a while ago, what does that have to do with Earth being in a healthier state? I mean, I'm sorry, this is going to be very gruesome, and I'm sorry. If they bring back several packs of dire wolves and woolly mammoths and other, saber-toothed tigers, and they all start to devour humans at a rapid pace, that might help save the Earth. I know, that's really, sorry, very anti-human. But I mean, and I'm sure, you hate humans. Oh, right. I can hear the chorus of cries. I don't know. My my verdict is out on the greatness of humans. Like, yeah, they're pretty cool. Also do some really horrible stuff. So I have some skepticism around humans being the absolute pinnacle and the coolest ever to be. I mean, what did George Carlin say about human beings? He's like, yeah, I love the people I know. I love the people in my life. But humans as a whole, not so much. Anyways, these are supposedly dire wolves. Does this look real to you? Do you think this is real? It's just a dude kind of or is this AI generated They don't even look, they don't look like they're moving like in a realistic. They look kind of robotic, a little bit to me. I'm gonna say I'm very skeptical about this story, but sure, okay. I guess they did it. It's Alex Jones holding the dire wolves. CRISPR lettuce, yes. Is it CRISPR or is it CRISPR? They mean reprinting the animals when we're all dead. Okay. Painting a white horse with black stripes, calling it a zebra. Yeah, I don't know about this story, but sure, cool story. We'll go with that. I think it's cool. I guess. Speaking of another cool story, this is an interesting post here. Somebody pointing out or trying to point out, I saw this in a meme. Victory Jen sent this to me, and I saw this in a meme, and I didn't really know what the reference was. Because somebody was talking about the fake plane and the real plane, and they're saying this. Remember this shot of us pulling out of Afghanistan? And it was a bunch of people like trying to hop on the plane, and we were just monsters for pulling out of there and leaving all these people to. And what these guys are trying to show you is that this plane is not real, and it actually makes kind of a lot of sense, their analysis of this. And then when you realize that, yeah, it probably isn't real, this plane, because you can't see the turbine for one thing in here. You cannot see the turbine inside. Like if you look at a real plane, you can see the turbine. It's not just a black hole. So they're trying to say that this plane is basically a blow up blimp.
20 feet of those engines, Mark?
Let's listen
Pretty
to this.
clear, right?
A lot closer than that.
Correct. Okay. Why do I bring that up? Now, guys, this is a clip that I analyzed with you guys back in September. I posted it again on my Rumble channel, and this is critically important to understand. Everyone has seen this video over and over and over again. And I did a breakdown of this, all right? And I'm running it without sound because we don't need sound. And what I explained to you guys is this, okay? This is I believe a C-17. It is a 4-engine turbofan jet intake, very similar in thrust and power to a Boeing 747. Big, big, big plane. Now, can we all look at this picture and assume, can we all agree that all of these people here are standing within 15 to 20 feet of those engines, Mark? Pretty clear, right?
A lot closer than that.
Correct. Okay. Why do I bring that up?
Because none of them are hanging out of the engine.
Correct. And I'm sorry, I just got to add this back in. Looks like it froze again. Wow, everything's freezing up on us tonight. Here we go. So you can clearly see, guys, there are people well within 15 to 20 feet of that engine. Is there anybody in the chat that's going to argue with that? I don't think so.
Why
is that important?
There's no turbine in here.
All you guys can go through this exercise.
You know it's FAF.
Go online and look up a Boeing 747, a C-17, a 737, an Airbus. You pick your engine. And what they have is warning signs. In fact, in a regular airplane that you go to at the airport, it's actually printed right there on the engine. And what it shows you is what's known as the blast radius, which comes out the back, and the intake radius that sucks in on the front. And what I'm about to show you here, as it comes up, let me just get to it. Here we go. Okay. Now, I know it's a little difficult to read. I encourage everyone to Google this, and please challenge me if you think I'm wrong. But the intake radius of a 747 or even a 777 is 15 feet to 20 feet, meaning at idle, when it's sitting at the gate, right? Before you take off, before you start moving. And here's a picture of a 1,000-pound freight container getting sucked into an engine because it was within 15 feet of it. What do you think it could do to one of these people, guys? If it can do this, we're still gonna believe that this really happened? Not to mention, look under that. Look under the bottom of the plane. You notice you can't see any wheels. You can't see any light. Guys, that's a float. That's like a float from a parade. That's why you can't see the wheels. That's why there's no light coming underneath it. All right. And we went through this whole exercise to show you that it is literally, now, again, this is at idle. That plane on the runway is at half throttle. So that 15 feet gets even bigger. You're within 30 feet. You're getting sucked into that edge, and yet none of these people did. Why do I keep saying this? Why am I beating this to death? Because, guys, what you're told about Afghanistan didn't happen. Period. It's a psyop. It is a white hat counter psyop to sell the narrative that Joe Biden doesn't care. And then, of course, what did you get? You got the bodies coming home to to Andrews Air Force Base. Derek Johnson pointed out they had the wrong uniforms on, the pallbearers, Joe Biden checking his watch. Do you remember all that? That was a white hat counter psyop. It's a show. And so when we go around saying this horrible pullout and we lost all these people, no, we didn't.
I don't know about the white hat counter psyop or whatever the hell,
now, guys,
but I think that was the end of it. But there's quite a few different people analyzing this and just saying this is, not a real thing. But anybody have any thoughts on this? I just thought this was you want to make up your own facts now? Anyways. Maybe. It's an interesting video, interesting take. I'm just playing it for, for educational purposes and entertainment purposes. Hold on one second. Give me a moment. Give me a wine. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. So is this what is C-17? Is that what it's supposed to? Is that what this is supposed to be? C-17, I think. There's a couple pictures of it. What's supposed to be the same plane? I think. Does it look like the same plane? It looks kind of like a different shape, I want to say. I don't know. So they're saying the windows are blacked out. You can't see the engines. Yeah, it would blow. Yeah, absolutely. Creative experiments. The blast would be blowing those people off that were sitting on the plane, which that was the most unbelievable. When I first saw it the first time, I was like, people were sitting on the plane and it's moving. No, that's not happening. Bella says it's almost as if you can't trust the media. Indeed. So yes, I'm going to go with pretty likely that was a bullshit video. That whole thing was, and maybe some of y'all saw that immediately. Maybe some of you are like, oh yeah, that was fake the first time I saw it. I don't know. Probably. I mean, I remember talking to a long time ago, talking to somebody about 9/11. And this friend of mine was like, oh yeah, the day it happened, when I saw it come down, I was like, no, they immediately were like, that was a controlled demolition. Like, it just looked like a controlled demolition. Like, That's what it looked like. They were like, no way. So they were immediately incredulous and disbelieving because they had a working pair of eyeballs and a brain, but if you're just in semi shock and you're watching it, it took me a couple months to actually read another article from somewhere for me to go like, oh, hold on, wait. Because when I was watching it on TV, I was watching it on TV, right? You're kind of in shock and you're kind of like not, it is unbelievable, but still you believe it because it's on TV. So when I was watching it happen, I was like, what, just kind of like, wow, that happened. Like I wasn't thinking anything about it. I was just like, oh my God, wow. And then a couple months later, I was reading an article and then I went, and then that's like, that was the first little like click in the lock for me. Like there was a click and I was like, oh, and then, washed like loose change and some other things. And it was just like click, click, click. Okay. Unlock. Brain unlock. Okay. Bella says war is just a racket. A racket is best described, I believe, as something that is not what it seems. You mean a conspiracy? To the majority of people, only a small inside group knows what it is about. It is conducted for the benefit of the very few at the expense of the masses. Smedley Butler. So yeah, interesting, right? We'll look at this one more time. Yeah, this looks like a bunch of bullshit. You can't see the engines for one thing. And people are writing it like it's a like it's a float. I was gonna say goat, but I thought maybe that would be. Would that be weird to say? Writing it like a goat. I don't know. Sorry. I just made myself laugh. Anyways. Yeah, I think that's about it for me, guys. I hope you found this educational, entertaining, different, all those kinds of things. Those are old turbojets. Is that what they are? I don't know. Anyways, y'all, thank you for hanging out. And don't know if I have anybody to thank as far as the donations go. Thanks to the people that donated on Rockfin over the last month. I appreciate y'all. Y'all's are so nice and so kind. No, I think that's it. All right, guys. Thanks so much. I'm going to see you again tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific, the regular time. All right. Thank you, Malcolm. A taste of a sane mind and an insane world. All right. Right back at you. Because I got to say, you got to be, there's a special type of mind that can hang out here at this show. So consider yourself above the fray. Okay. Thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. And until next time, peace. Bye.